What's up, guys? I'm back with more F123. Today we got a league racing video at Baku. And I'll put the standings up on the screen, but this is the fourth race of the season. I am in fifth place, or tied for fifth place, rather. And I've got a lot of ground to make up. Doug has currently pretty much run the table in this season. But we're hoping we can catch up a little bit with a good result today. Unfortunately, this is not a track that I like very much. It's not a track that I'm very good at. And any race here is, for me, is going to be an adventure, especially I think in this league because of course I use no assists all the time, but this league is I had a bit of a moment there, which is not atypical for me at this track, but it's probably going to leave me with not that great of a lap. But as I was saying, this league is no racing line, no ABS, and at a track like this, that means that it's very easy to lock up, miss a braking point, have to go into the runoff area, and I mean that for everybody on track, right? Not just me. Of course, I don't have any ABS ever, so it's always a possibility with me, but everyone else in the league as well. So it's an opportunity for you to make up positions by other people missing braking points, but it's also an opportunity to get yourself in trouble if someone behind you misses a braking point, runs into the back of you. So I think at the very least this is going to be an interesting race. It looks like we've got 8 people at the moment, but I seem to remember 9 people race in this race, so we'll see in a moment. But the lap is shaping up kind of nicely compared to the first banker lap that I had. But, of course, I had a moment there, and then I think I had a bit of a lockup later on in the lap as well. And I end up P3 after that lap, but, of course, there's a lot more time here to go. Fast forward to me trying to set another lap, and I'm in 4th place at the moment, but I mistimed it. I went out to try to get a lap in and ended up locking up and missing a braking point and cost myself a bunch of time trying to right myself. But I end up qualifying P4 anyways, so pretty good outcome, I would say, all things considered. So we're starting from 4th. It's a long race. Like I said, not my greatest track, but we'll see what we can make happen. We're off. We are away. I'm starting on the mediums here, and pretty quickly I'm in first place, just like that, just immediately. So it turns out after the fact, I found out that my teammate actually was the bowler there who actually ran into the other cars. I think it was kind of at the end of the day, I don't think anybody was really that harmed by it. I don't think that they got any damage. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since this race happened, but for the moment, I am in first place. Unfortunately, I have a driver behind me who is very, very quick, Mac T. This guy has not done a lot of races with us. This is his first season. You see me make a mistake there at the same place that I made a mistake in qualifying. But Mac T is a pretty new driver to the league, but he is very rapid. He's got some pace, and he is competitive with Thug for being one of the fastest drivers in the league. I make another mistake there, and Mac T very quickly gets by me, and he's off to the races at this point. I'm not going to catch him. He's 6 tenths ahead of me already, 7 tenths ahead of me already, so I'm not going to catch this guy, but I'm going to try to stay in front of everybody behind me for as long as I can and hopefully secure a little P2 here. Fast forward through the rest of the lap, and I actually did catch some time up to Mac T just using battery on the straight, but then made a colossal error and clipped the right wall with my right front tire and went all the way across the track, broke a wing, and there's no one to blame here but myself. It was just a mistake, and I just a lapse in concentration, and I hit the wall, and I paid for it with a broken front wing. Fast forward, going into the pits here. It's only the second lap of the race, so my strategy is in a lot of trouble here too. But I'm going to put on the medium tires again. I'm aware that I'm going to have to pit again. I just didn't think that I could do a set of hards to the end of the race. So I think what we're going to do here is obviously start on the mediums, switch to the extra set of mediums on lap 2, and then just kind of see what happens and see if we can take advantage of anything. But I come out right behind Incident, who I think had pitted as well, if I'm not mistaken, for a new front wing. I could be wrong about that, actually. I don't think he did. I think maybe he lost some time having a moment or something like that. But I'm able to catch up with him pretty quickly. He's on the hard tires. I'm on the mediums. I'm going to be faster than him. given that. And I think also I was running a bit less downforce, I think, than him, which has been pretty consistent throughout the year. I think quite a few of these races I was running slightly less downforce. If you watch my Portugal video, you know that I kind of my bread and butter in that race was using not very much downforce and just sort of gaining a lot of time on the straights. And I was able to get past Incident there on the long straight at Baku, and then build enough of a lead here that that he's not really threatening me immediately there. And just fast forwarding through this stint a little bit, I'm gaining a little bit of time on Incident behind me. I'm gaining some time on Grego in front of me. I was driving, I think, pretty consistently. I was not driving very consistently at the beginning, as you saw. I hit the wall and broke my front wing. But past that, since then, I think that I have been driving pretty consistently. So I'm going to try to keep that up. But Grego actually pits there, and I think that was probably a scheduled pit stop. Lap 9, the timing probably would work out there. I don't know. 15 laps maybe a little long on the hards, but maybe not. But regardless, I'm in front of Grego. We've got Mac T in front of me here, and I know that I said that he was a really fast driver, and so it would be tough to compete with. But what actually happened is he disconnected from this race. So I can't remember. I don't think that I showed that actually, but he did disconnect. So that's his AI in front of me. That's not Mac T. That's not Mac T, the driver that was gapping me at the beginning of the race. That's Mac T's AI. So I should be able to get past him, but my fear is that I'm not going to be able to get past him until the start finish straight, because I just don't think I'm going to be able to get enough separation and get kind of the positioning I need to be able to pass him before then. And we're pretty much out of opportunities now if I don't do it into this turn, which obviously I don't. My next chance is going to be on the start finish straight, and unfortunately I'm losing a little bit of time behind him. But I don't know that that would really change the race for me very much, because I do have quite a bit of a gap to Ghost in front of him, and I've still got to pit again, don't forget. So there's a lot of race left to run here, and I'm going to try to maximize it certainly. But as I hit the DRS, I do get past him, but almost run into the back of him as his AI goes into the pits. And I'm told by the game that it is time to pit, and I go very deep into turn 1. Another mistake, just a comedy of errors from me, but fortunately it's a difficult track and other people are making errors too, so we might end up being all right. But this is definitely going to be a pit lap for us, and fast forward to the pitting, and you see me going in here. Should be a pretty quick stop, and we will be on to the hards to finish off our race. 2.2 seconds, very quick, very fast. But remember, I'm going to the end of the race on these tires, so this is it. And you've got a car here on my right, and it looks like that is Incident again. He goes a little wide there. It looks like he might have made contact with the wall, but he gets DRS off of me, I think, or actually I can't tell. But I'm pretty close to him here, half a second. His tires are older than mine are, so hopefully I'll be able to catch him and get past him, and move up on through the race. But right now, as it stands, after Moose DNF'd, I think he might have retired early in the race. That's 9 drivers. I'm 7th out of the 8 remaining drivers that are still in the race. So there's a lot of wood to chop. There's a lot of ground to make up. And the only positive here is that I have run 13 laps at this point, so I'm feeling more comfortable than when we started the race. That's really the only positive. I still don't feel comfortable about this track. It's not a good track for me. But in terms of just getting used to it, getting into the flow of the race, I feel like I'm kind of there. So Hal, my teammate behind me, pits. He did not have a good race. He had the turn 1 incident, and then I think he might have ended up pitting 3 or 4 times. Just probably wanted to forget, but hopefully he can pull out a fast lap point there as you see him go onto the softs. We'll see what happens. We'll monitor that closely. But for now, what we're monitoring the closest is the battle with Incident, as I'm roughly 6/10 behind him. I've got a lot of battery, and I'm going to hit it here to hopefully be able to pass him. And I should get DRS as well, so we've got the benefit of DRS and the battery. And we are going to make quick work of Incident as we did the last time that we were around him on track. I get past him, and remember, Mac T in front is an AI. So the way the rules were written at the time, actually. I think this has now changed. I know this has changed. I make the rules in the league, but at the time, he would be disqualified for Mac 2 would be disqualified because his AI ran the vast majority of the race. So he's not a real he. That's I'm more of in an effective P5 at the moment, but we would still like to pass him on track. I think that's it's just I'd like to really get it done on track as opposed to just saying that it had gotten done after the race because of the rules. We like to make these passes on track and we like to make it happen. But Grego and Mac T are both in front of me, and the reason that I just sort of went out of the small box there so you can see, Grego's just lost a bunch of time, and Turtle Commander retires from the session. You see he's out of the session there at the top. That is a DNF. So this race just opened up for me. Okay, I'm P6, but I'm going to get past Turtle to go into P5 because he just DNF'd. I'm going to pass Mac T because he'll be disqualified. I'll be P4. So right now, the only thing between me and a podium is Grego, who is 2.6 seconds in front of me. And I think, I'm not positive, but Grego might need to pit again. And yeah, there he goes into the pits. So I'm on the podium now. And as long as I don't mess this up, I've got a podium. And I think this is my first podium of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And my first podium in a while, actually, in this league. Mac T pits as well. He goes onto the softs. Again, he's an AI, but we are past him on track. So I'm in a podium position here. We're lap 21. It looks like I'm not going to be able to catch Thug or Ghost. Ghost has a pretty significant lead. What is that? 29 seconds. And I think at this point he can pretty much just coast. Obviously, if he makes a big mistake, I'll try to capitalize on that, but I'm not expecting much. Thug, obviously, 50 plus seconds ahead. I'm not expecting much there either, but unfortunately, I make a colossal error. I miss my breaking point. Hal gets past me. He's one lap down, but I back up and then I don't back up far enough. So I'm actually I'm burning all kinds of time here trying to get righted. And it looks like by the time I get righted, Mac T behind me is within 2 seconds, and Grego is within 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds there. So that was a huge cost of time. And if it had cost me any more time, I would have been in P5 right now. Fortunately, I was just able to stay ahead, but I'm going to be so careful for the rest of this race, trying not to lose any more positions or make any more huge mistakes that would compromise my finishing position. Grego, fortunately, does make a mistake later on in that lap or early in the next lap, and it looks like I should be able to take this home to a podium as long as I don't mess up. And I'll, of course, show you the rest of this lap, so you'll see if I mess up. But a podium here, I think, is a really good outcome given everything that happened in this race. I think if you just look at it in a vacuum, the fact that I was at one point in a true P1 for the race, maybe you think, okay, well, that could have been more than a podium, but also there was never any chance that I was going to stay in front of Mac T. Obviously, he ended up leaving the race, but Thug, I think, always was going to get by me. Ghost, it might have been a little more interesting with Ghost if I'd been able to finish that stint, and maybe he and I would have been neck and neck, sort of at the finishing stages of the race. We would have been on the same strategy, I think. I think I was going medium to hards, and he went medium to hard. So it could have been a really nice finish there, roughly a 30-second gap. You think about my extra pit stop and wing change. The timing works out well there that I probably could have been competing for P2 in this race. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that, but I did take advantage of all the other things that happen on track with other drivers and managed to get the P3. So this is one of those weird races where I don't really feel like it was a stellar race. I say that as driver of the day. JM Titan 10 pops up on screen. I don't feel like it was a stellar race, but I do feel like it was a race that I kind of made the most of what was happening around me on track, and got the best result that I could for the situation. So that's really all you can do in these races is just be ready and take advantage, right? And that's what I tried to do here, and I think that's what I did, and ended up getting the podium, which, as I said, first podium of the year, really good outcome. And I'm showing you the celebration because obviously I watched it because it was my first podium of the year and I wanted to see it, wanted to celebrate it. And yeah, so I'll be back with some more races throughout the rest of this season. Um, I'm not going to show you all of them. We've finished the season at this point. There were a couple races that just weren't good. I had a pretty early DNF in one of them that you'll never see as the viewer. But we do have some other really interesting races that I will show you and I will share and check back in. I'll certainly give you those. But thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along for the podium, and we'll be back with more soon.